Hello and welcome to a HIIT style workout on the Bowflex Revolution. My name is Eric, and in a HIIT workout, we work out 2 o'clock. So we're gonna have 35-second work intervals, and then we're gonna have rest intervals of about 30 seconds. It's gonna vary a little bit throughout the routine. There's gonna be previews of lifts and stuff as we go. So we're gonna be moving along really quickly, getting our heart rate up and hopefully working our cardio system while we're building muscle here. Now first up, we're gonna have the arms in the number 1 position, handles in the short position, and we're gonna be starting things out with a decline press. Now instead of just hammering out decline press 3 sets in a row with those short rest intervals, we're gonna go decline press for 1, flip it around, and we're gonna do a seated row hitting our back and our biceps. And that's gonna let our chest and triceps recover so we can go back to another set of decline press. And we're gonna flip it back and forth. And that's how a lot of today's routine is gonna go. We're gonna be flipping between 2 different exercises that work different muscle groups. Now, a key part of this is finding a weight setting that's gonna feel just right for you. So for me, I'm gonna be hooking up a 40-pound weight plate as kind of my minimum resistance, and then I can add the 10s as I go. So up to 60 pounds here, and you can see I actually have the 10s kind of hooked up over here, and then when I need the weight, I can just flip it in, clip it in, and if I don't, I'll just remove it really quickly. So, if you're not hooking up a 40-pound plate, don't worry about it. Find a weight setting. It's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be challenging, but not impossible. And if you've done the rep-based routines with me before, you're gonna wanna drop the weight just a little bit. So where you might do 50 pounds, you might need to do 40 pounds because that shorter rest interval. This routine is moving along really quickly. We're gonna have, with the warm-up, this routine's under 25 minutes, and it's got 15 sets in here. So really fast-paced routine here. Now, if you're never sure what's coming up, again, there's previews. There's also a free PDF you can print out. There's a space where you can write down your resistance setting. And we're not writing down our reps as we go on this one because it's moving so quickly. You're gonna wanna grab this bar for some bicep curls, some extensions as well. And then finally, at the end of this routine, we are gonna be on the ground doing some crunches. So grab a yoga mat or a towel or something. I think I forgot to mention also, I've got the leg press attachment hooked up for this thing. So the rest of this routine, we're gonna have a 3-minute warm up and stretch, and then we're gonna get into the workout. So make sure you hit the like button, and I'll see you right back. All right, let's get this going. Jogging in place here for about 1 minute and 15 seconds. Alternatively, you can do some high knees, you could do jumping jacks, you could do body weight squats, whatever you want to do to get the body warm. We'll get a little stretch going, and we'll get into the workout. So first up for this workout, we're doing that decline press into a seated high row. And after that, we're moving over to our core, doing some torso twists. We're gonna do 2 on each side. And then from there, we're going into another superset, starting out with tricep extensions with the bar. And then we're gonna do some bicep curls. So we're just gonna be moving the arms up and down between each one of those sets. And then we got some seated rows with a long isometric hold. Those are a bit different. I'll explain it when we get there. And we're finishing things out with a resisted crunch on the ground. Okay, so we're winding this thing down here. We're gonna go into head rotations here. Just loosen up your neck. A couple full spins in one direction. Now let's change directions. And there we go. Okay, arm flutters. Arms are gonna be all the way out wide, and then you wanna just kind of flap them here. Imagine you got some wings, and you're flapping them. Get a nice stretch in there. Loosen up your back and your chest, maybe your shoulders a little bit here. And we're gonna wind this down and go into some arm pulls. So you can pull your arm across your body. We're stretching our triceps, or you can pull it above your head here. And we're gonna hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch arms here. And hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, up next, we're gonna reach up nice and high, and imagine you're grabbing a bar and then pulling it down. And you wanna, imagine this, get this nice stretch in your back, engage your arms, and then reach back up, and then pull that bar back down and back up. I'm just doing some lat pull downs here, loosen up my back and shoulders. Let's do one more pull down. And that's gonna be it. So next, I'm gonna do what I call pull aparts, but you can do whatever you wanna do here. So this, imagine you're holding an elastic band and stretching it out and loosen up your back here as you do this. You know, really engage your arms all the way through to make the most out of this. Last one. All right, so we are gonna be going into this first set here. So again, we're doing decline press. I'm gonna start out with 40 pounds racked up, and then I'm gonna add 10 pounds after this first cycle through here. I always like thinking of this first set kind of as a continuation of my warm up. So for our decline press, we're gonna have our hands underneath our arms here, and we're gonna be pressing this weight down in front of us. So you're gonna exhale as you press down, and then slowly retract it. So we're gonna be doing a full set of that, and then we're gonna switch it. So we're gonna be then seated here, and I've got my seat all the way in the back position here. I'm gonna put my legs up on this or on the leg extension here. You could alternatively put them down here if you like, and we're gonna just do nice smooth rows, holding the weight here, and then slowly release. So we're gonna have 30 seconds between each set here, so you're gonna have some time to get in position. Let's get into that decline press now here. So press it down and extend. 2. So I want you exhaling as you're pressing down, and then control that retraction. Just because we're, moving fast with the clock here in the short rest interval, I want you controlling the weight. Okay, so short rest interval again, and we're just gonna now spin around and get in position for these rows here. Okay, so in 10 seconds, I want you with me here. Hands on those handles about now. And we're exhaling as we're pulling back. Keep your back, don't be rocking back and forth. Keep your back straight up and down as you pull this back. And I want you controlling the weight through the whole repetition. That means going nice and slow. Okay, nice. So we have a little bit longer between this set here. I said it's about 30 seconds of rest for everything. It'll change up as we go. So you can now adjust your weight setting up a little bit if you feel like it, or maybe if you barely got in, that full set, you might need to drop it. So I'm adding a little bit here, about 10 on each side. And I'm going to keep that for both of these exercises. Okay, 5 seconds. Hands on those handles. Let's get ready to go. Exhale as you press down and slow retract. Now, I love doing these really fast-paced workouts like this. Sometimes, you don't feel like you can commit to like 45 minutes, maybe an hour of exercise, but I know I can do 25. Having these compact workouts where you can hopefully get a good sweat going, work your upper body, and in just 25 minutes is just great, and that's why I like these so much. Okay, let's get in position here. And row. I want you to really focus on a slow retract here. And you should be exhaling as you're pulling those handles in. Now, I know we're not very far in, but it starts getting tough around here. You are tougher though, come on. All right. Now, if you're a beginner doing this, this is about the spot where you might need to get a little adjustment here, where instead of joining me at the very start of each set, maybe join about 5 seconds late. That's going to give you a little bit less work time, a little bit more rest time. But if you're not a beginner, then I want you keeping up with me here. All right, in position, let's press it down. This is our last chest exercise of this routine. So make this thing count. You got 10 more seconds, let's go. Nice. Okay, spin around doing those rows. Okay, one more set of this, and then we're gonna go into torso twist after this, and we'll have a little bit more of a rest interval. So let's keep things rolling. Keep those reps nice and slow. You know, I know we're going fast between exercises, but you want to keep the reps nice and slow. Okay, nice. So for me, I'm going to drop my weight setting back down to that 40 pounds, and this is the most I can do on torso twist. And for this, we're gonna go just flipping back and forth, one side to the other. Kind of shorter rest intervals for this whole thing. And I'm gonna be planting my feet, so I guess I have my knee kind of in line with this bench here, or the seat there. And then I'm gonna be have my arm, slight bend in the elbow, and then I'm gonna be twisting like this. Now, try not to put your shoulders or your arms into it. For that first rep, a lot of times I need to. And then after that, we have kind of better control through here. Now, I like watching the handle for every rep here and having that nice slow retract is really challenging on this particular exercise. Keep watching that handle. So you should really be feeling it kind of in your outer core on that twist. Again, focus on trying to do that twist with your midsection and not with your arms. Okay, other side. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now let's twist. Now you can also try to keep the handle up higher here towards maybe elbow height, or you can take it down a little lower. Personally, I find the higher up, the harder the twist is. Okay. A little bit longer rest interval. And if you got the time, you can record all your weight settings so far real fast. Okay, 10 seconds. Start getting in position here. Get the hands on the handle, legs out wide. We're ready to go in 2, 1. And now let's twist. Keep watching that handle. Holding the full extension and then slowly retracting. It just adds another level of difficulty here. All right, one more torso twist, and then we're moving back to our arms. All right. Focus on your breathing on this one. I want you exhaling as you twist away, inhaling as you slowly retract. Now, if you've ever done yoga, you'll know a lot of power comes through your breath and your ability to hold the position or go a little further happens when you have the right breathing. So exhale as you twist, slowly inhale as you bring it back in control. Nice, okay. We're now gonna take our bar here and we're gonna hook it up on one side. And we're gonna go into a tricep extension. So this handle here, don't put it far away. We're gonna be using that again in just a moment. Now, on the tricep extension, we're only hitting one side here. I'm actually gonna raise this up to a number 0 position. You can also keep it in the number 1. No, I like it in the 1 position, my bad. I'm also gonna add a bit of weight here. So I'm going from 40 to 60 pounds. Again, we're only working one side of the machine, so I can bump it up a bit. For a tricep extension, I'm gonna be a little bit away from the tower here. What I wanna do is as I bring this down, I wanna be extending my arms all the way right when they hit my thighs. So you might need to bend your knees a little bit to get in this position, or you can just pull this weight back and towards your thighs. Exhale as you're pressing down. Now the starting position for this, your arms should only be partially rotated so that they're parallel to the ground at the starting position, and then turn them 90 degrees. Whew, nice. Okay, for bicep curl now, we're gonna take this and we're gonna then bring it all the way down to either the 8 or the 9 position. I always get tripped up here. I'm going with the 8 position here. If you want in the 9, you might need to move this leg press attachment, but we're gonna use that in just a moment. So I'm going with the 8, and we're just doing a nice bicep curl. You know, try not to put a bunch of momentum into this and try to slowly lower that weight. Exhale as you're curling up and slowly lower it down. You got 5 seconds. Come on. Awesome. Okay, doing one more of each of those. So let's bring this arm back up to the number 1 position and get ready for one more set of tricep extension. Okay, 5 seconds. Hands on the handles, let's extend it down. Again, you might need to lean forward a bit or bend your knees. Slow, controlled reps here. Last tricep exercise, come on. Let's go, guys. Whew. Okay, we're going into those curls. Drop our bar back down to position number 8 here. Okay, after the set, we're gonna hook up this handle over there in the longer position. Here we go, curl this thing. First, we gotta beat these bicep curls. Try to keep your back straight. No momentum if you can. Okay, nicely done. All right, from here now, we're gonna hook up both handles to this other side now. I'm gonna have them hooked up in the longer position. And I'm also gonna be hooking up that 60 pounds for me. This is kind of gonna be my max weight I'm gonna rack up again. And we're gonna go into a seated row here. And we're gonna take a nice long isometric hold. So what we're gonna do is grab these, and I'm gonna have one foot up on the leg press. I'm gonna pull this back, I'm gonna tuck in the handles here, I'm gonna hold it for 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna slowly release. Now the clock is actually gonna be counting our reps for us. When you hear a beep, that's when you release. So let's pull it back here, hold it until you hear that beep. Now slowly release it and pull back and hold. Hold, we got one more after this. And hold this thing till you hear that beep. Oh, there's no beep. We're done. Okay, so we're gonna have the short rest interval, and then we're gonna go back into that, that row with the isometric hold. All right, in position here, pull it back and hold. Now I kind of love finishing these HIIT routines with an exercise like this. It really is a test of like willpower trying to hold this thing. Which right at the end of a tough routine can be really challenging. Okay, last rep here, guys. Hold. And release. Okay. Awesome. Moving into our final exercise. We're going to bring the arm all the way down to the 1 position, or excuse me, the 8 position. And we're going to grab our yoga mat here and spread this out. And now we're getting on the ground for this exercise. So let's adjust that here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to grab these handles from behind our head and bring them in towards our ears, and then we're going to go into a crunch position like this. So we got about 8 seconds, guys. Let's get in position here. Hands at the ears, and we're gonna crunch, get those shoulders off of the ground, and then slowly drop it back, and then raise back up. Holding that crunch is gonna increase the difficulty. Also, if you wanna get your feet off of the ground, that's even more of a challenge. We got 10 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds of rest, and then we're into this final set. Okay, 15 seconds. I'm gonna count this thing down for us. All right, we got about 8 seconds now. Let's get the hands back on the handles. Tuck them in towards the ears, and we're going in 3, 2, 1. Crunch it up, get those shoulders off the ground. Feel that engagement in your abs. You got about 16 seconds. 8 seconds to go. Finish strong. All right, awesome job on finishing this routine out. Let me know in the comments, what you thought of this thing. A little bit different than, the other routines I put out for the Revolution. And make sure you hit that like button if you made it to the end. And as always, I want you to be good to yourself, be good to others, and thanks for watching.